So good afternoon, everyone. It's a huge pleasure to join you today. I think I've got about 10 minutes to talk, and then we'll see if there are any questions. And what I wanted to do in those 10 minutes was just to share a few insights that we've gleaned from our own work and also from other countries around some of the 5G trials that we've been leading to get the network out there at scale and to get some of the exciting use cases and benefits from 5G. So just to set the context quickly, so the organization that I lead as managing director is the UK's largest 5G testbed. We've been in business for about 3 years, but we weren't the first 5G testbed in the world, and we took a lot of inspiration from some of the early work that was pioneered in other countries, and also collaborating very heavily with other countries, including Latvia at the moment. So we've kind of got two objectives as a business. The first is to work in partnership with the private sector, the mobile operators, the fiber providers, all of the other people involved in infrastructure and the public sector to create the conditions to get the 5G networks out there at scale. Clearly, there's no point just having the networks available in small city centre locations. If we're going to get the benefits from these 5G networks, we need to have them rolled out everywhere. But that's a very expensive and time-consuming process. And our second objective has been then to test, prove, and scale the innovations on top of the network by bringing together groups of organizations, a little bit similar actually to Printify on the demand side, who are looking to solve problems such as how to improve patient care in the healthcare system or how to improve manufacturing productivity with these technology companies, so we can prove what the opportunity is to use 5G, Internet of Things sensors and data and AI to do amazing things. And the reason why those two objectives are really important is that I think, as many of you are aware, the cost and time involved in rolling out these 5G networks is huge. So just in the area that my organization represents in the UK, which encompasses about 3 million people, it's going to cost about €3 billion to update the 4G sites to 5G. As many of you are aware, 5G isn't a software release, it's an actual change of hardware, and it also requires fiber optic cables and various other upgrades as well. So it's a really expensive and potentially slow process, and we can make things easier and faster. And secondly, just having 5G networks doesn't actually create the innovation that we need. We need to pull in the other organizations and find the opportunities around it. So I'm going to play a short video next, just describing what we've done to accelerate network rollout in the West Midlands by making it radically easier, cheaper, and faster for organizations to deploy 5G. And some of our work here was inspired by some of the early work in South Korea around deploying 5G at scale. So if you could play the first video, please.
West Midlands 5G set out to make public assets more widely available for mobile deployment. The starting point was creating an easy-to-use interactive map showing the location of their public sector assets. As a result, all 7 local authorities in the region have published their assets on this map for the mobile sector to see. West Midlands 5G knew that lengthy negotiations over every mast site slowed down 5G rollout. So, to streamline this process, a simple cost-based approach to valuation was developed and standardised agreements were utilised, removing the need for bespoke lease negotiations for each site. Now, the standard agreements are being rolled out with industry across the region. This has accelerated the deployment of 5G by as much as 6 to 12 months when compared to other areas. As a result of this work, West Midlands Combined Authority currently has the best 5G coverage in the UK when compared to other combined authority areas, according to a recent independent 5G audit report.
Great, thank you. If I can go back to the slides. So I hope you were able to follow that. But just to quickly summarize, so what we've been doing over the last 3 years by working in partnership with the mobile operators and all of the organizations that own the public assets, the buildings, the lampposts, the other properties that 5G masts need to go on, we've been able to accelerate the rollout of 5G quite radically so far in the region we work in the UK. So today, about 50% of the population have access to at least one 5G network, either where they live or where they work. That's about 15% geographic coverage because the region is concentrated around cities. About 40% of 5G sites have been upgraded, 4G sites have been upgraded to 5G, and we're in the process of working in partnership to upgrade the remainder. So we're off to a great start, and we've had great success making it faster to deploy 5G. Now I'd like to play the second video, please, which talks about some of the innovation work we've been doing in the transport, healthcare, and also manufacturing sectors. And some of this has been inspired by some of the early work in Finland around their 5G hospital, some of the early work in Germany around Industry 4.0. So if I could have the second video, please.
5G trial is basically looking at how we can reduce the amount of paperwork and effort to run the business as we grow. What we're going to do is take 25% of our machines and digitize them through 5G so that the machine will talk to our ERP system, and we'll also be able to use some digital quality by taking high resolution images of products and sharing that with our suppliers. In essence, the glass factory concept is the ability for our customer to not only see where their parts are in the system and what's the expected delivery date against their plan, but also to see what our future capacity is and be able to offer that as a service by selling that capacity to them straight away.
So if I start from the clinician end, so the key benefit is the efficiency savings. So I mentioned that as a clinician, in order for me to see a patient on a home visit or a house call or care home visit, can take over an hour for that visit, whereby if they came to the GP practice, that consultation might take 10 to 15 minutes. So by allowing them to use this technology, they can save a huge amount of time, travel time, as well as that sort of consultation time itself. So that's really important. What that means is that the clinician can now either use that time that's saved for other things that could be administrative, but also they can provide more access to patients who do need that face-to-face visit. So that's really important.
Connectivity is changing life as we know it. 5G is supporting the development of intelligent transport systems that connect our cities, businesses, and people. Trams collect a variety of valuable information, including CCTV footage and tram performance and maintenance data. The ability to transmit high levels of data almost instantaneously unlocks incredible opportunities to strengthen passenger safety, and to improve the maintenance of key public transport routes, operators will be able to provide passengers with the right information and give them confidence in using public transport post-COVID. In the future, entire networks of trams could be equipped with 5G-enabled sensors to help engineers identify issues and perform maintenance on carriages and vital infrastructure. This will make the upkeep of the network more intuitive and cost-effective. Looking forward, passengers will also be able to enjoy real-time travel information, onboard entertainment, and a much safer and more reliable service. With 5G, we're unlocking the future of transport in the West Midlands, making our cities smarter, safer, and more accessible.
Great. So if we could just switch back to slides. So just to conclude my presentation, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea of some of the innovation we've been leading with over 200 different organizations in the transport sector to use 5G to reduce congestion and pollution by better managing our road network and also encouraging people onto transport, public transport, in the health and social care sector by bringing the expertise of doctors and other clinicians straight to the patient, and also manufacturing to improve productivity. In addition, finally, we've set up 3 5G accelerators or incubators in each of the 3 cities in the region that we represent in the UK. in partnership with Deloitte, Telefonica, and also Digital Catapult. And through those accelerators, we've helped over 300 organizations pioneer all sorts of open innovations, things surrounding the green economy and many others. So if I can have the final slide, please. Oh, sorry, it's me, isn't it? The final slide. So I think in summary, that there's a huge opportunity for innovation around 5G, huge opportunity to benefit from the insights from many other countries as we've been trying to lead. I would summarize 3 points finally in terms of what success looks like in my opinion. So the first is to make it as easy as possible to get the networks out there, to get the 4G sites upgraded to 5G, because until the 5G networks are out there at scale, it's hard to develop the innovation on top of it. Secondly, to get really strong, powerful leading organizations involved in the innovation who want to own the benefits of it, be that manufacturers, healthcare organizations or others. And finally, to adopt an open and agile innovation process. So that's the end of my presentation. Back to you.
Thank you, Robert. The question from my side is, how do you feel? You also already mentioned that we have this infrastructure of 4G, 5G, so we have all the elements in place, but we need to create services. We need to create the customer experience and all this great stuff. So, but how to boost it? Do you have one single golden formula for that?
The golden formula is collaboration. So for example, by finding leading organizations that want to use the technology of 5G plus IoT plus data to solve big problems, creates a virtuous circle where it pulls in other technology companies who, as you say, can develop the applications, the data services, invest in the network. So just as a very quick example, the first 5G trial we ran was a connected ambulance trial where we showed the potential for a doctor to guide a paramedic in the ambulance to do an ultrasound scan on a patient that normally the paramedic wouldn't be able to conduct themselves because they're not trained to do it, and they need to be guided by a doctor using high resolution video. That trial created lots of excitement amongst technology companies and encouraged a number of them to do further work with that hospital to actually develop a whole suite of services around connected ambulances.
Yeah, thank you very much for this case study. This was really on point. Thank you very much, Robert.